bada bing.
The voice of Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. The voice of count 'em, 2 Ninja Turtles.
Count 'em! Twice! I'm Leo, no, not Leo. Donatello, right?
And Gusto Gummy!
What's that?
And Gusto Gummy, that's right, we got a Gusto Gummy fan.
Thank you, yes. Thank you, Aaron.
No, thank you. To his left is Jymn Magon, co-creator of Rescue Rangers, and creator of Talespin. You want to do any funny voices?
All I ask is if you're taking movies and pictures, put them on the internet so we can see them.
If you guys
Only Mark and Bob are in the witness protection program.
And speaking of Mark and Bob, Mark McCorkle and Bob Schooley, the creators of Kim Possible. And look who's here, Greg Weisman, creator of Gargoyles.
Hey guys.
Mr. Weisman.
Keep a good sit.
Sure.
Yeah, we've got...
Sit in a room in front. Sit on the floor.
There's floor space.
We have one chair.
Well, it's a good thing, yeah, it's a good thing we didn't bring anybody in, so we're out of table space. I guess the first question that I would ask would be, the first question's for Jim. I got this one on Twitter. If you had continued with Talespin, where would that story have gone? It seems like there was so many things that were like laid in there that didn't ever finish up. Like, was the tension between Baloo and was that ever gonna happen?
Yeah,
You know, was he ever gonna get the plane back?
It was a big sex scene.
It was going to be something called Baloo Velvet.
Yeah. David Lynch was hired.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is doing.
We all have that problem at our age, Jim.
Yeah, I know. No, actually, I don't think there was any arc where we were going to say, oh, we want to do this, and then we're going to go here. If you think of television as your favorite ice cream, let's say it's chocolate ice cream, every time you go back to the store to get chocolate ice cream, you want it to taste the same, right? You don't want it to suddenly taste like pistachio. So I think the success of these shows was, it's new, but it's the same thing. I like that. You know? So just more adventures, I think, is all I would say.
Mm-hmm. So if you got the chance to tell more adventures,
Well, you know, one of the biggest questions that we get asked all the time is, what happened to Mr. Cunningham? You know, is he divorced? Is he dead? And as my partner Mark Zaslav said, we will certainly tell you that. It's going to cost $150, and we'll let you know.
I always wondered that about Andy's mom in Toy Story. That's getting I'm sorry, Andy's dad, I should say.
Yeah,
Mom's dad.
exactly.
Mark, Bob, if you had the chance to tell more Kim Possible stories, would you have things that you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I think so. I think we always felt, because we tracked their relationship, and then by the end, Kim and Ron were together. We thought it would be fun to, see what that would be like, when they had ups and downs and whatever. So yeah, I think we would have continued.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about that show is, unlike most cartoons, the kid each year was a new year in high school, basically. So it kind of would have to be college, which is kind of not the Disney Channel demographic. So I don't know.
If they went to Riverdale High,
Yeah.
it's still
Oh
be
my
good.
God! Yeah. Thank you very much.
But yeah, I think we had some ideas on how we could do that. But I think we even had a scene originally showing them going to college at the very last episode, and the Disney Channel didn't like that because it made them seem too old or something. I don't know. So we did a different end scene. But originally it was them arriving at college as the last scene of the last episode.
That seems like something that you could totally tackle today, though, with the age group that.
Well, now everyone's in college who watch the show or older.
Right. Yeah.
They can go along with.
I'm way past college.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have heard that. Yeah, when you look on Twitter, there's always somebody going, "Oh, I just heard somebody with the Kim Possible ringtone in class," and it's It's not elementary school where that's happening.
I run into at least three or four Impossible cosplayers. So
I never have.
Really?
I see the pictures on the internet, but we've never, like one year when Kim Possible was still on the air, I said, if somebody comes dressed as Kim Possible at Halloween, I'm going to have something really good. I had a toy and everything.
A TV.
Didn't happen.
My daughter was Kim.
Yeah, Shrek saw it this one year. Go figure.
There was a gadget outside I saw earlier this year.
I saw a gadget as well.
Well, there's not. I mean, it's amazing because it's such a popular character. I mean, not only amongst girls who grew up with it, and it was a good, strong role model for them. But a lot of boys love that show.
Yeah. And old men.
And by guys who did stuff on the internet they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you guys go to search any Disney characters,
You have to put on your safe
put the
search.
safe search on. I had to send some art reference to James Sylvania on Gosling when I first started doing the Darkwing Duck book, and I did it without the safe search. I still can't unsee the things I said. So Greg, I have a question for you. This one. Someone sent this to me, and I was like, yes. Why didn't I think of this? This is so amazing. And more importantly, why hasn't Disney thought of it? With technology where it is today, with the computer-generated graphics and whatnot, why are you not right now for Disney working on a Gargoyles live-action film? Why is no one calling you about that? That seems like money on the table.
Disney is currently developing a live-action movie called Gargoyles about creatures who wake up in modern-day Manhattan and are befriended by a New York police detective, and they claim it's not based on the show. They've gone through at least 2 writers that I know of, and as far as I know, they don't yet have a script that they like, which I take as a good sign. I'm a little perplexed as to why Disney wants to wipe our show out of existence and take the name and stick it on something that's so similar and yet not us. It's a little mind-boggling to me, but I have no inside information on why they're doing what they're doing.
Well, if only there were a writer that could write a good Gargoyles script. If only we knew somebody.
I have suggested myself on occasion over the last 19 and a half years. And actually...
just turn it up. I'm just not. You want up or down?
Can you guys hear me back there?
Yeah.
So actually, Michael Reeves was the story editor during the first 2 seasons of Gargoyles on the show, and back in 1995, they did hire Michael and I to write a treatment for a Gargoyles movie, which they then fired us off of. And back then it was actually a Gargoyles movie based on the show, but now it's not. And beyond that, I have no information. So I definitely think, with today's technology, you could make a phenomenal live-action Gargoyles movie with Keith David as Goliath and Marina Sirtis as Demonia and Jeff Bennett and all those guys. I have no doubt whatsoever that we could do that. But Disney owns it. I don't know. Disney owns it. It's completely up to them. I mean, all these shows, if it were up to the people up here, they probably never would have ended. And it's just never up to us. I get a lot of tweets in particular really angry at me for canceling Gargoyles or canceling Young Justice or Spectacular Spider-Man as if that was my call. Yes, I like being unemployed. Thank you.
We get the ones that accuse, are you out of ideas?
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you get very angry. Yeah, very vitriolic.
No, I found that's true. People generally do not know how these things work. We get that all the time, even with the comics. It's like, why did the comics stop? Why aren't there new comics? It's like, it's not up to us. It's,
I think, in the old days, the magic number was 65. 65 episodes of something was enough that you could show it 5 days a week, all through the year, and then networks and syndication felt that was enough. I think the new benchmark for a pretty big hit is that sort of 78, 80 episodes. I think the rare thing is a SpongeBob, that's well over 100 now, right? I mean, it's,
Easy.
So I think it's one of those things we fans want to see more, the creative people want to do more, but there's a business side of it that just, they say, well, this is what we need. And then later things get rebooted and things like that, like Ninja Turtles certainly has had multiple incarnations.
Yeah.
The original one was huge and
200,
was,
I think we did, a couple hundred of the original one, yeah.
and then there were a couple reboots and
And
the
then now
current
we're
Nickelodeon
in the
reboot.
third season of 26 of that one, so.
Yeah, so sometimes that's what it takes too. A little bit of time goes by, there's nostalgia.
Yeah.
That people who did watch it originally maybe now have kids, and I have my grandchildren love watching DuckTales and Rescue Rangers.
Totally, yeah, great.
So it'd be nice, I think, if Disney was smart, I think they would reboot those. Like DuckTales would make a great CG show.
Here's the good thing though, they'll never call us.
No.
Well, the interesting thing is that DuckTales just had huge success re-releasing the game through Capcom.
Yeah.
Right.
So not only, and I don't know the exact numbers on it, but I know one of the guys over at, that designed the game said it was very well received.
Yeah.
So I believe they're actually working on some of the other Capcom games, like Rescue
cool.
Rangers and maybe Darkwing Duck. But when you mention Ninja Turtles, this is literally a property that's never really been out of the public eye since its inception. It's been there in some kind of form, and it's like, and we'll keep eating it up. It's like shut up and take our money. And so it's funny because it's such an evergreen property, and Disney has all these evergreen properties, and so many of them fall by the wayside. And I understand wanting to do new things and things like that, but especially now with Netflix and all of the ways you can deliver these products to people, it seems like the time is right for that kind of. Now I'm just getting upset.
Join the club.
I want to say something real quickly. I was reminded when you were talking about Disney making decisions. There's a line that Diane Keaton has in the movie Sleeper, where she says, "Who can understand the criminal mind? We're artists. We respond only to beauty." And I think that's who can understand the Disney mind.
I'm gonna try and talk a little louder. Understand? I'm getting tweets from people saying they can't.
We'll tweet our answers.
You're getting tweets from 50 feet away.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to the ones that are like, "You're going off topic. You're blowing it. You're blowing it." Got it, got it. So, Greg, I gotta apologize. When I asked the Gargoyles question, I thought I was being funny. I didn't realize I was pouring salt into it. So you did the comics. You got to continue the Gargoyles story with some comics through slave labor graphics.
Yeah. We had a really good time. Got to tell what, they did 2 seasons of Gargoyles and then they sort of fired me and did a 3rd season without me. More or less.
We don't count those.
I don't count those.
It's like that last season of Community. Nobody really counts.
I got to do a little bit of what would have been the 3rd season, and those trades are still available. 2 Gargoyles trades and 1 spin-off, Gargoyles Bad Guys, and they were slave labor. The Gargoyles book was Slave Labor Graphics' best-selling title, so they went back to Disney to renew the license, and Disney jacked up the license fee so high that even though we were their best-selling title, Slave Labor, SLG could no longer afford the license fee anymore, so that ended. So again, he's just pouring salt on the wound. Was he doing this to you guys before I came in? Or?
No, he's lobbing us softball.
But I had a great time doing the book, and I love Gargoyles. That's my baby, and I would still be doing it if there were any way, shape, or form. But again, I don't own it.
I see you get those tweets all the time too. I saw you get one recently where someone was like, "Why did you end Young Justice?"
Yeah.
And you were just like, "It's not me." I mean, I could feel the defeat, like through the through the tweet. You were just like, "I answered this so many times. It's not me." But I feel like that's, you know, kind of like the way that animation goes. It's like the fans are so passionate about these things, and for whatever reason, oh, the toy line didn't sell well, you know, retail or whatever, so we're canceling the show.
Especially action shows. Those toys better move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turles still sells a lot
Yeah,
of toys.
tons.
Yeah.
No, I mean, our first season on Gargoyles, our toy line came out and they were selling great. And so we were a weekly show, once a week, only on Fridays. We did 13 episodes. We wrote 13 episodes in 10 months. And then when they picked us up for season 2, they decided that we were going to strip across 5 days, so we had to write 52 episodes in 10 months. And that was hard. We quadrupled our writing staff, and it was still really, really hard. And then this other show called Power Rangers showed up. I don't know if you've heard of that one. But it just kicked our ass, really. It kicked our ass in the ratings. We were always a solid second place, but they beat us time in and time out. And their toys were late in arriving in the United States, so for a while we still had the #1 toy, but the moment the Power Ranger toys hit, it was like we didn't exist anymore. And once that toy line went down, we were canceled. Then, again, they decided to do a 3rd season because Disney had bought ABC, so they put it on Saturday morning. But they let me go, and I do think the show went down in quality. I mean, basically the whole staff was gone. Not just me, but Frank Parr, who was the other producer on the show, was gone. And so, you know, the toys weren't selling, and the show sort of had always had solid ratings, like a single or a double, not a home run. And then in its 3rd year, it just tanked. So that was sort of it.
It's a cheerful panel so far.
Yeah, there's nothing you can take away. It's an
We're talking
everything
about-
will die.
If we talk about then as opposed to now.
Yeah.
Don't gather cartoon writers.
All right,
I'm ready to die.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Rob,
please do.
Okay, how many people in this room lived on meat in Dearborn, Michigan?
Right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people went to Oakland University?
I didn't.
Oh, you did.
I didn't go.
Yeah,
Well,
yell,
here's my
yell
question.
for the back. Yell
Here's
for the
my
back.
question.
Or use the mic.
Here, go ahead.
We come from a similar sort of Midwestern background.
Yeah.
How did you end up?
I hail from 2 cities that are both in receivership. Detroit, Michigan, and Flint, Michigan are both on the FBI's 5 most dangerous cities in the world. Both cities from which I hail. So you better hope I don't leave Los Angeles, because that's going to go under. Now that's how big my ego is. That I presume that if I leave LA, we'll go broke. So, hey, what was your question?
How'd you get into voices?
Oh, thank you very much, Jim.
Because I don't know this.
Well, you don't know this? Well, hi, I'm Rob. I'll be your Turtle and your Yakko and your Pinky and your Donatello and your... I'm very fortunate to be up here with this auspicious group of people, many of whom have given me work and helped me pay my mortgage, and maybe will in the future. Thank you very much. I grew up in Michigan and wanted to be a hockey player, and then fortunately, when I was about 17, I learned that I had neither the talent nor the temperament to do that as a result of some big, strong kid from Winnipeg who beat the living Christ out of me. And I thought, okay, so my next passion was to perform. And I moved to Los Angeles back when virtually all of you were not born. I didn't come here with the idea of doing voice work. I came here ostensibly to be a live action actor and started getting work in that part of the business. And then I had the opportunity to read for G.I. Joe and Transformers back in 30 years ago. So those were the first shows I worked on. G.I. Joe, Transformers. It didn't take me very long to realize that there are 1,000,001 average-looking white guys with SAG cards in L.A. And so to be able to do a job in which I'm not limited by the fact that I am a middle-aged white guy, that it's wonderful. I have been so fortunate to work with these guys on shows. I think I did 3 or 4 of your show. I did a whole bunch of things. You guys gave me tons of work, and I promise you, the best thing about this job is this: to be able to now. I think we touched on it a bit that we're all old enough to have been around for a generation, but young enough to still do this and be able to travel around and really reap the rewards of meeting you guys, like my beautiful friend Karina, who's here, and her dad, and I get a chance to actually come and shake hands with people who grew up watching what we did. And often now you get a chance to meet people and their children who grew up watching what you did. And by and large, it is a very happy experience. I say, hello, nurse. And you do that. Or narf, and you do that. And so we are so profoundly grateful to have been able to pay our mortgages doing what used to get us in trouble in high school. And really, really, truly, it is profoundly gratifying to meet you guys. So thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to do it.
Will you do me a favor? Will you say my favorite Pinky line?
Well, it depends. I mean, is it a specific response to Are You Pondering What I'm Pondering?
Yes.
Okay, well then, I don't know which one. What is it? Is it the... Oh yeah, okay, then you have to ask me. You have to say, Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I can't do Maurice LaMarche.
You don't have to. Trust me, many people have done Maurice LaMarche. And he would love that. He would say, yes. So, okay, Aaron, you asked me the following question.
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Aaron, but if they called them sad meals, no one would buy them. Thank you. I get paid for doing this.
When you walked in to create Pinky, I know we're getting off Disney, but that's fine. Because, you have such an amazing,
Well, luckily I'm an equal opportunity gig taker. Yeah.
When you walked in, did it say Narf in the script? Was that already there?
No, any of you guys know Eddie Fitzgerald? Or,
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Eddie Fitzgerald and Tom Minton were the two, and I mean this with all due respect to both of you gentlemen, they were the physical models for Pinky and the Brain. Tom Minton, if you know Tom, he's a wonderful producer and a talented guy, but he's a little kind of a dour fellow, right? I mean, he's very incredibly bright, like an MIT Mensa guy, right?
His expression doesn't change.
But his expression doesn't change. He barely speaks a book like this. And he kind of looks like the Brain. I love you, Tom, And Eddie Fitzgerald is kind of bouncing off the walls and used to say things in pitch meetings like, and then the guy comes to the wall and he does this, and then Narf, and so Tom Ruger and those guys sort of stole those little bits and pieces and incorporated this. So I didn't write any of that. All of those sort of Tourette's pinkyisms were as a result of Eddie Fitzgerald saying Narf and pointing. So to this day, there are people, and I've made my disability work for me. So there you go. But no, there are a lot of incredibly interesting, creative people in our business, and somehow that kind of stuff ends up, and now it's part of the lexicon. It's so crazy because we were talking about Rich Ahrens is here, by the way. Rich Ahrens, who worked and produced and wrote on Animaniacs and Tiny Toons and Pinky and the Brain and Biker Mice from Mars and all this stuff that I've had a chance to work on. He and I are back there's an autograph section, which is in the back, right by where they empty the garbage. Sure. in the back of the convention center. And Rich and I were talking about this very thing, and this is something we all experience, and that is it's a very anonymous profession, but when you're in a social situation and people ultimately ask what do you do for a living, and it happens to me on the golf course all the time, and the response is, no way! Are you kidding me? Dude, I'm golfing with Pinky! Yeah, he's a middle-aged white guy! So and the same thing, people find out what we do, and it's, Gargoyles, are you kidding me? DuckTales, no way! And it's really fun. It's great, cool. It's cool stuff.
When you're golfing, do they make you talk like Pinky the rest of the
Yeah,
time?
it's really, do the thing! It always does, and I'm saying, I'm talking to you, but my friend is trying to putt, so I'm saying, no. And, no, that happens all the time. It's very gratifying. Or, you know, and dude, I just got done watching a hockey game with Raphael. Oh my God. He's still a middle-aged white guy. It's great fun. Great fun.
That should be the name of your autobiography.
It is. My autobiography should be, dude, your childhood was a middle-aged white guy.
So did you guys? I mean, would anybody in here be in favor of like me shutting up and you guys getting to ask questions? Would that be good? Anybody? How many questions do we have?
That was mainly for shut up.
Playing shut
I
up.
think this man is going to hurt himself if you don't ask him.
All right. Here's what I need you to do. When you come up, I need you to say your name, and I need you to project loud enough for everybody to hear you, because you can see we only have 2 microphones.
Leave it 10 spot.
Pat Jackson
Hi, Pat.
from South Pasadena. Mr. Schooley, Mr. McCorkle, speaking of Disney live action adaptations, I heard somewhere that, like on DeviantArt.com, that there's a live action Kim Possible movie in the works starring Emma Roberts, who would be a very apt choice, I might add. She worked with you on Hotel for Dogs, I believe it was.
No.
Not that we're aware of.
What's the long answer?
DeviantArt is.
We actually wrote a live action Kim Possible back when it was still in production, and that almost got made, and then they decided to do Sky High that we worked on instead. Why it was either or, I don't know. But, so we took that script basically and changed it a little bit. I think we added Maurice LaMarche into that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact. And it became
One of
the series finales. There were 2 because they brought it back the second time. So there's been some talk every now and then about a live action Kim Possible movie still, but it's just talk.
We'd be open to it. But
Yeah, we've always said we'd love to do it, but you know, and there is also, it's kind of always fraught.
we do the Gargoyles movies here.
Fluffy dogs.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Well, let me finish by saying that I think you were both cheated by not getting to do I read somewhere about just read, mind you, it was an alternate Kim Possible finale, a kind of graduation, which I love because it pays homage to The Matrix, Casablanca, and The Naked Gun. And then it was basically, she passed the communicator to her old friend. It says, Renton's the name, Felix Renton. I better not catch any of you guys in Milton. Which I thought was brilliant. And then she finally passed the line.
Well,
Ron,
I don't think we had that plan.
Is there a basis in tax rate?
It's all news to me.
Yeah.
you have a business card in your
Oh,
bill?
We didn't come prepared.
By the way, everybody will be signing, signing after the panel.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much, Pat.
All right, who's next?
They can stand up where they are.
Yeah.
You can't stand. You don't have to walk all the way up. You can stand up and
This is
yell.
embarrassing.
I know, I was just thinking, Greg, it feels like we're at a parole hearing.
Hang here!
No, the embarrassing thing is I'm not talking to the three gentlemen I know. Mr. Schooley, Mr. McCorkle. First off, my name is Rodney. I'm from Garden Grove. Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
I know these gentlemen. My question, this may be unfair, but I'm going to ask you to kind of get inside the Disney mind here. I know, it's very scary.
Well, I understand his head is frozen.
If anybody could do that, we'd all still be working on this stuff.
Yeah. Go on.
Kim Possible was kind of a merch machine. I mean, there's still Kim Possible stuff I can go buy at the World of Disney and a bunch of other places. I mean, it was nonstop through the show and after and so on and so forth. Shortly after Kim Possible came out, along came American Dragon, Jake Long. Zip.
Right.
Any idea what prompted that?
Well, I think they tried a lot. I think Disney Channel, Disney's a company, but Disney Channel in particular, had a real appetite for, let's find a property, an animated property that can drive a lot of merchandise sales. They thought, and we thought, Kim would be such a property. It was not. It didn't. There was merchandise. There were party plates and some dolls and things like that it did okay. I mean, I would say the Kim Possible merchandise thing was best summed up. It was a Walmart exclusive.
That's what I was gonna say, our
And
Walmart
Bob and I
store.
drove to a Walmart, which I'd never even been in before.
There weren't any in
We're
person.
sorry.
So, no, we went in and we saw
Were you wearing pajamas?
We saw the toys there, and we saw an employee socking and going. And this is the soundbite we exactly heard. You know, a character we created was finally made into a toy.
And we just saw it on the display. I set the
This
stage.
person's like putting up the dolls and going, stupid. So, and it's like,
For our benefit.
so anyway, to leap ahead, so I think.
We drove to Paramount City, or Panorama City.
I think American Dragon was another kind of show they thought could do that, a mixture of comedy and action. You know, what happens with a company is when they develop a show like that, you'll pitch it to all different divisions of the company and licensing partners or whatever, and then people have to get excited, and sometimes they just don't. You know, I think what the show that finally hit for them in that area, I think, was Phineas and Ferb. The Phineas and Ferb
Yes.
finally.
Thank you, Jim.
Sure,
The sad thing is that Walmart employee is now in charge of greenlighting projects.
I do think one thing that's really changed since when we started the Disney Afternoon is the lack of a Michael Eisner. Because when I started at Disney, and Jim had already been doing this for a while, Michael personally chose every show. So I would, when I was running series development at Disney, which is what I did until I developed Gargoyles and then moved over, every 6 months I'd go up in front of Michael with 5 or 6 shows, pitches, and he would kill most of them, which, you know, meant they're dead, but he'd pick 1 or 2, because he had to.
He had a vision.
Yeah, he'd pick 1 or 2, and what was great, and I don't think we appreciated it at the time, because what we'd see is he's killing 5 of our babies, you know, kind of thing. But what we didn't realize at the time is he'd pick 1 show, and he was Michael fucking Eisner, you know? So if every division either got on board or got out of the way, and then as conflicts started up at Disney between Eisner and Katzenberg, and between Roy Disney and Eisner and stuff like that. Even before Michael left, he was accused of being a micromanager, and so he stopped choosing the shows. But he didn't choose 1 person to replace him. It became a committee who decided on which shows were going to go. And it's much, much harder to sell a committee on anything, because all it takes is for 1 person on the committee to say no, and you can watch like wildfire around the table as everyone starts to doubt and wonder. They don't want to be the one guy who said yes to something that bombed.
Yeah.
And it really creates this culture of fear that the moguls didn't have to worry about. If you were a mogul, and Eisner was maybe one of the last of the moguls, if you said do it, everyone would just do it. And nowadays, everybody's got to agree, and then even when they all agree, you'll see 4 or 5 divisions sort of go, yeah, well, we were never that big on that.